I have currently put all my caster bullets into my revolver wheat, and I'm ready to blast off. So let's go ahead and bounce into game two between semifinalists in the second semifinal of the TL Open number 13, TSL Qualifier number 6. It's going to be mouz.Strelok against the Bulgarian newcomer ZeeRax. Let's do it.
Link engaged.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game number 2 in our second semifinal, Strelok versus ZeeRax. One of these players will go on to face QXE, who defeated Select in the first semifinal of this TeamSpeak Team Liquid Open number 13. Also a qualifier for the TSL. This is number 6, matter of fact. And hello, Zerg invites coming tonight. Oh, I'm so excited, Dave. Let's get to this
do you
game
play
now.
Zerg or something? Is that a race
Something
that
like that?
play?
Although I'll tell you what, it's because of creative and awesome and intelligent Protoss players like ZeeRax, like IMC, that are making me seriously go, God, you know, Protoss really is something special. So
You're thinking, did I choose the wrong race? It's like going down the wrong career path. While you're on hour 10 of coding that project on your under deadline, and you just think, I should have been a painter. Yeah, why didn't I go into painting? I love it so much. But you know what? You can switch careers with just the click of a button. You too can be a Protoss like ZeeRax.
And still get paid the exact same amount.
Nice. We do see Strelok throwing down his barracks now. Will he be getting a gas early? Will he go for some sort of early expand? Nope, there's the refinery going down for Strelok. ZeeRax also getting up his assimilator. Very, very, very excited to see ZeeRax do an Immortal heavy opening again, as they are one of my favorite units in SC2.
You know, I feel like the Immortals kind of experienced this like up and down in the popularity contest that is StarCraft 2. I remember an early beta, and maybe that's just because it was sort of a newness of the unit. I mean, even when I played Protoss, and I was just like, dude, Immortals all day long. And then suddenly you realize, you know, but it does, and then sort of they lost. You know, maybe a rumor was spreading about how, I don't know, you know, maybe they caught him in the doing something, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden he beat up one of the bullies at school. He's popular again. Like, that's how I feel the Immortal has gone over the last since release.
He has indeed had that tumultuous history, you know. I mean, even I did nothing but Immortal Rush in every matchup with Protoss. I would literally get a Zealot, a Stalker, and an Immortal and attack, and I had like a 99% win rate. And then when someone made a bunker with a bunch of Marines, I was like, well, this is broken. I hate this. And then I just did Max Colossi like everyone else, and we see ZeeRax again with the Immortal with the Robo immediately. Gearing up, I would say, again, to get that awesome Immortal mix out.
I like this. I really like this style of build from the Protoss. I mean, you know, we saw him in the last game, ZeeRax, take it and basically convert it into something that can support the 4 gateways and the Robo. You know, he just kind of did it in his own little way. And in this case, it seems like there is a lot of option for which direction do I want to go. And I talk about that a lot, but I think that that's so important for a player to be able to go, okay, now that I've done this, chase my opponent out, I've scouted them, I got a good idea what they're doing, I'm going to just kind of bend this way a little bit. You know, will it actually turn out that way? I don't know, but I like this specifically.
And I mean, ZeeRax just has the timing down pat on this build. I mean, the robotics facility finished right as he got 75 gas. We do see another sentry coming out. We see that Chrono Boost being saved up, so we can do the intuitive thing, Chrono Boost the hell out of that Immortal. And look at this. Just hang out over the Robo. Look at the money. Right as that Observer finishes, the Immortal gets queued right up immediately. Just phenomenal, phenomenal timing by ZeeRax.
No, Observer is going to go out. We do have Strelok moving forward with a force very similar to what we saw in the last game. In the last game, we saw just a little slight fumble there by ZeeRax as he let a couple of hits get up and then was able to force field the ramp. But he is prepared in the exact same fashion as he won in game number 1. Zealot moves forward just a little bit. He's going to prepare that F key, and he doesn't want to be too late. But look, that SCV makes it up there. Pylon almost goes down, but Strelok, I do not think really committing to anything here. He just wanted to get some vision, and he saw the additional gateway, and that was about it.
The expansion coming up right now for ZeeRax. Warp gates wrapping up. There it does get planted, thusly so. And it's just such a tiny force. 2 sentries and an immortal. Now going to be, 2 sentries, 3 sentries, and 2 zealots and an immortal. But that can hold off almost infinity units,
Yeah,
almost an extremely good mix.
What is the tipping point there?
What do you mean by the tipping point?
Well, between it can almost hold off infinity and what is that point in which it cannot hold off infinity?
It's when those sentries start getting low on the force fields, really. The force fields plus the immortal. You can always push the units close to the immortal, make sure that the immortal doesn't glitch out and get stuck behind the stalkers, which is ever so common. We also see ZeeRax, again, not opting to do any sort of immortal play anymore, but just going straight for the Colossus, as is the usual play that a lot of players like to do. However, with the number of sentries he has out, he can just defend so much more easily.
Yeah, and we saw him use those those sentries to great use in the previous games. SCV once again, you are not invited here. Out. And this, he was totally just chilling there. He's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. But again, doesn't seem to be stopping ZeeRax in any way, shape, or form. Want to take a look here at Strelok as he makes a nice transfer of SCVs over. And he is going to move out a slight force. Does have a Hellion, giving him a little bit extra mobility around the map. But, of course, ZeeRax is the very nicely placed pylon in the back door. Make sure nothing goofy can go through there. Take out a bunch of probes. And we could see a little push here by Strelok, number 2 of the game.
And in this case, there's so many fewer immortals that it's going to be quite difficult to be able to defend this. Here's the Colossus popping out right now. And we do see it's going to be maybe a drop by Strelok, maybe a little harassment play. Are there any stalkers on the map? Looks like 2 just popped out. And here he goes. Oh no, running the Colossus right on top of everything, but amazing force field. Strelok is not paying attention. 0 shots fired as he's trying to do micro with the Hellions in the back of the base. This has been a huge win, and look at the pylon not quite locking off those probes. But it does seem to be the case that ZeeRax is going to be able to defend this. Will he pick that off? Will he be able to take it down? It looks like maybe with the sentries coming up. Oh no! He loses everything. Strelok suddenly just years behind his opponent.
Yeah, and I do not think that, I was trying to look at how many kills actually went down there. There was not a whole lot. So other than, again, that little misstep by the Colossus into the line of Marines and Marauders, he still came out of that one very, very much ahead, and he's taken down those rocks to now secure his 3rd. Strelok has put a couple of bunkers here at the front, make sure no imminent counterattack would just rush right through. But look at this. Over on the wing, we see a command center going down here by Strelok, and I really kind of like this. Observer is going to come over, see that there's no 3rd. Could give ZeeRax an extra sense of, well, I'm definitely ahead in this one if I take my 3rd. But at the same time, if Strelok can hold on to this and hide it for a while, might turn out to be pretty good.
Yeah, this is one of the very common standard techniques when you are way behind to take a big risk to get back ahead. Because as we've seen, ZeeRax is not a big fan of ever making any mistakes at any point in time. We see ZeeRax even getting the double forge out right now. Very cool play. So that way, again, he's already ahead after killing off that attack. He knows he can't get attacked anytime soon, so he's just going to go ahead and begin getting those upgrades. So Strelok is just praying that this expansion on the right side will allow him to get far enough ahead to where he can just have an overall bigger army. I'm a little worried, though, that no Thermal Lance has been begun by ZeeRax, though.
Yeah, actually, is just about to ask about that as well. You know, he's been floating a couple of times where he's been able to do it. He does not really have he's got almost a nexus of 70 chrono boost right there, so he could actually get it out pretty quickly. But choosing to just get those Colossus out instead. Also, Blink going down, and here comes the Observer. He is going to peep that third expansion, and that's always just a horrible moment. Additionally, if you're not really paying attention over there, which a lot of times we're not, actually may not have seen that shimmer to know that this attack is coming. And of course, ZeeRax moving out, he will just walk all over that third from Strelok.
You see the third base going down now for ZeeRax. There's the third. Oh, Strelok cannot catch a break. This is one of the classic mistakes that players make. When they get ahead, they just stop scouting, assume that they're in the position they want to be in. But ZeeRax not going to make that mistake at all. Just immediately scouting, spots the command center. Amazing play. And there's the extended thermal lance upgrade going down. ZeeRax also not forgetting to get more and more gateways. Who is this player, Wheat? He plays so well.
I don't know. I'm really enjoying this guy's play, from his scouting to some of his little mistakes that makes him look like just an average player that has some serious skill. I was actually hoping, Sean, that he might use that opportunity to swing all the way around and maybe try to do some damage here at the choke. Of course, I don't think that he has very much knowledge on exactly what's happening there at the front, so I can understand his decision not to. But I think he could have done some pretty significant damage. He's now securing his third very nicely. A lot of gateways going down, and as you mentioned, that thermal extended lance going out there. And he's putting down an additional robo facility as well. He's gotten to that point where it's time to really start boosting our units.
And it looks like he is getting the Zealot with leg speed upgrade, chrono boosting his upgrades, but starting to go back and get some Immortals. And I'd just like to point out that other than the Nexuses and the units, ZeeRax is using no hotkeys. No hotkeys on the Forges, no hotkeys on the Robos. No hotkeys on anything except units and his Nexus.
Wow.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah, crazy and inspiring, because he seems to be doing really well, and he's made some very smart decisions. And, I just like that. But here's where it gets scary for me, Sean, as we see the Terran taking their gold and the middle. And as you know, this becomes a very scary place to get control of. And if I was the Protoss, I'd start to be the temperature's rising in this room. There's all these siege tanks here, and how am I going to bust through? And we've seen too many Protoss just fall because they just haven't been able to handle or deal with exactly that. So I'm curious to see what he will do in retaliation, so to speak, of this middle claiming.
Well, ZeeRax so far hasn't done the big misstep of forgetting to keep adding on upgrades and unit-producing structures. Look at ZeeRax just add on those gateways. He's already at 2-2. Will likely be going on to 3-3 in just a moment. Strelok, I think, did a smart thing, which is just to sit and turtle and defend, because when you're behind, the only chance that you have to be on even footing with your opponent is when you're both maxed, because you know that he's going to get maxed before you will. But man, ZeeRax is just playing so tight right now. I mean, everything. Look at this. Chrono boosting Templar, chrono boosting the 3-3, getting more Immortals, and look at the gateway count from ZeeRax in his main, just slamming out so many gateways.
Yeah. There's a lot out there. I think 11 now on the current count. He's going to move forward, take out those gold rocks by just basically just breathing on them, and they go down. And we'll have to see how he'll decide to attack. Again, not a whole lot of vision. He is trying to keep himself up to date with that Observer. Here he sees the Terran army now moving forward. They might be trying to move directly into the third, but they do want to get position here, sieged up again, making it really hard for the Protoss to see forward movement.
Oh man, it looks like Terran's trying to get into a good spot, trying to use those siege tanks to the best of his ability. He will be able to pick off this gold expansion, but ZeeRax is coming up with a very intimidating looking army. He does have Blink. Oh, there's 3 Guardian Shields going up to help cover a little bit more area. First set of tanks go down. The Zealots end up warping immediately forward. The Immortals doing huge damage. Look at those force fields, Wheat. And the Colossi in the back, tearing everything to shreds. Will he be able to do enough damage here? Well, with all those gateways, it looks like ZeeRax is warping in a whole slew of Zealots. And with those upgrades, see you later, Strelok's army. And ZeeRax has enough production to just get a huge army out immediately.
Yeah, he is going to be able, all those warp gates in his main, as you could see there. Remember, he put down that second robotics facility, so he's got one, actually both of them breaking out those Immortals, and we see a lot of units joining up here in the center here for ZeeRax. Also, he started his Psionic Storm, and I was actually going to say that we hadn't seen it yet, but here we see the High Templar now moving in, plenty of energy, so they might, feedback on the Ghost to avoid any EMPs, and he might go ahead and move forward. He's got a lot of gateways, a lot of economy here to support this, sending a bunch of probes over to that fourth as well, and he could have just sort of secured a lead here. We'll have to see what happens because Strelok still with some solid control of that center.
And there's the Immortal going in first, taking the key damage. Target firing, there's the feedbacks on the medevacs to do a lot of damage to Speed Zealots, tearing everything up. Speed Zealots so strong in small numbers, just immediately tearing all those Marauders apart. Strelok getting just torn to shreds. There's more storms on all the units. 7 more units getting warped in for ZeeRax at the back end. There's all the Zealots running into the mineral line, ripping those apart. 3 Archons also getting pulled out. Looks like the gold is going to go down from Strelok. One of the big favorites heading into these later rounds is just getting torn apart. Wheat, the 3 Archons, 3-3 right now. Immortals, and oh, look at this. 4 Immortals swinging down the right side. Zealots and Templars swinging down the left. And there is just hardly enough units anywhere for Strelok.
Yeah, and, this is just like the throwaway units up here that these Marauders are dealing with. There's still this massive army, as you'd mentioned. We've got the 3 Archons joining the mix, too, and they'll do a phenomenal job versus those Terran forces as well. Now, we did see Strelok continuing some economy here with a lot of mules mining that east wing. But I think that ZeeRax is so far ahead at this point that, even if he were to get that 4th base down, I mean, now with the gold going for ZeeRax, like what? He just sits here, gets the unit comp he wants, and moves forward and crushes what Strelok has waiting for him.
Yeah, I just cannot quite believe how incredibly solidly this is being played out. And here's the push. There's the feedbacks on all the medevacs. No more healing storms. Templar ripping through everything. Zealots up at the front. Immortals in the mid-range, just obliterating the tanks. And there is the good game in an extremely one-sided series. Yeah, You know what? I will join in with you.
I must applaud, yes.
I mean, no discredit to Strelok. He is an amazing player. But ZeeRax, the unknown, looked like he was in a whole nother league. I cannot believe what I've just seen.
I thought is absolutely phenomenal. Solid control, but I think really, really solid decision making. Not only in game 2 that we just saw here, but also in game number 1. Sure, we could point out a couple of mistakes. Oh, look at that SCV that's just idle inside his base. But you know what? You look at that score screen, you look at the results, you look at this last screen that I'm looking at right now. I don't know what you're looking at, but regardless, he found a nice little groove. He found his pace for how he was going to run this longer race, and it was faster than his opponent. And I was really impressed. Like I said, Day, that I feel like the last 4 StarCraft players that have truly impressed me and made a huge impression on me have been Protoss players. And I guess we have another one here in the grand finals of the TeamSpeak Team Liquid Open number 13.